Hello, Lisa here and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to make a quick video to talk about what is in my tarot kit. So I have been reading lately occasionally at my local metaphysical store. I'm going out today at the time that I'm filming this, and I've packed my to-go bag, and I thought I would show you guys what I bring along with me when I go to read in person for clients. So I have my giant Peggy tarot tote here that she made for me. I know she's working on some more of these for her shop. There's a little bit of a waiting list. I don't know how much of this fabric that she has left, but I know she has enough for at least a few, but we do have a few people on the waiting list already. So FYI, this is something that's in the works. But I thought I'd take you through what's in here so you can get an idea of how I sort of pack to go read for clients. So in the very front pocket here, which is this zipper pouch there, let's see if I can, it's gonna be hard to hold this up higher. Let me put something on my lap and then see, there we go. Okay, so in this front pocket here, I have my wallet and a couple of other little purse things like lip gloss, lip balm, and that sort of thing. So that's what's living in there. Inside this bag is like a giant kind of area, and I have a whole bunch of stuff in there I'm going to show you. I had to get my hair out of my way. But there's also two sort of smaller pockets in the back. So first, in one of those pockets, I have two of my Peggy reading cloths. So I have two of my bigger ones because when I'm reading on site, a lot of times there's a larger table and I want to cover a bigger amount of space. Whereas when I'm reading for myself, I often like smaller cloths. So for the big cloths that I've chosen, I have this beautiful crane. And this one's got a black velvet backing. And it was actually Peggy's suggestion that I make a habit of bringing two, because that way if anything spills on one or I have any issues with that, I can swap out. So the other one that I've planned to bring is this really beautiful fantasy one. This one is gigantic. I have to like come way back. This one's really cute, but on the back side is this really fun like gray floor tile kind of cobblestone fabric. So that's probably the side that I would use because I think my cards would show up better against that when I'm reading on a large surface. So I've got those. I also have a little spray bottle that I just got filled with some water. This one is just going to be for spritzing my reading cloth when I first lay it out, because if you lightly mist your cloth, especially cotton cloths like this one, with water, I wouldn't recommend doing this on like a silk or like satiny one, but on a cotton one, if you lightly mist it with water and then just smooth it with your hands, any of the wrinkle folds tend to go away, which is super awesome. So in the big, oh sorry, and then I've got another, I should put this stuff back as I'm talking about it, because if I forget some of these things because I've pulled them out, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed with myself. So I'm gonna tuck those back. There's two of those pockets inside the bag, so let's see if I can get you another view here. I took my little thing away, here we go. Okay, so inside there's those two big pockets. There's that one here that has my claws, and there's another one back here. So in this one, I have to keep moving this bag around, making my arms tired. I have a little Peggy pouch, and inside here I have some of my gemstone bracelets that I plan to wear. So this is my Appetite and my Hemimorphite bracelets. So I'm just gonna put those on now before I forget. I just finished getting ready otherwise. Also in here I have my Smudge Off spray. So Smudge Off is a spray that is made by one of my local friends here, Michelle. Her company name is EO Chakra Products, and she is on Etsy as EO Chakra Products, and also on her website at eochakraproducts.com. This mist is really, really lovely. Like, I don't want to burn incense at the shop, but this smells so good. So it's got sage in it. I'm not sure what else is in here, but I definitely pick up sort of like a lemongrassy kind of scent maybe. I'm not sure what else, but it's a really, really wonderful combination. And it just is wonderful for clearing the space between readings and for just sort of setting that sort of energetic, clear space that I want for when I'm reading for clients. So that's in there. And then I also have two staples in my reading practice. One of these is the protection oil that Dustin over at Modern Metaphysic Man made me. I know that he's been starting to create more oils and blends and sprays and things for his shop, his local place where he sells his stuff, and then also for his website. So take a look at that. I'll try to have links to everything down below so you can easily check things out. And then the last thing that I have in this little kit is my secret oil. This is a magical anointing oil that I got in a witch's moon box, and I tend to put a little bit of this in the center of my palms before every reading, and then I just rub my hands together as a way of just setting my own intention for tapping into my intuition and all of that good stuff. So that's like my little kit for that, and that's living in that other pocket. Also I'm gonna have to move that, it's too annoying. Also, I have breath mints, good staple when you're reading in person. Another lip balm because unicorn, and it's adorable. This one is called Unicorn Buttercup, and the lip balm legit smells like buttercream icing. So yummy. And then I have one of my little hand sanitizers here. This is the Vanilla and Brown Sugar by Bath & Body Works. So all of that stuff lives in that other little pocket in there. So the rest of this bag is just one big open tote bag kind of area. So I'm gonna start pulling stuff out and showing you. So first of all, there is my goes everywhere with me as much as possible traveler's notebook. This thing, I swear I'm gonna film a tour soon. I probably will try to do it before the end of December so I can show you kind of how I use this, because a lot of you are planning things for how you're going to plan and organize your life for 2020, and I'd like to share mine soon, so I'm gonna try to do that real soon. But this has in it it's a way for me to personally take notes. I can check my calendar for things if anybody wants to book a reading ahead of time. And then also, of course, I have my sort of personal little white book. This is where it's actually a little black book. I have these stickers are actually ones that were painted by Samantha Menzo. I think she still sells these on her website. But this book has like my spreads that I use and keywords for cards that I like to refer to, notes on runes, like all that kind of good stuff. And I just like to have this handy because you never know when you need to write something down or make a note of something for later. So that's coming with me. Let's talk about decks, because I know that's what you guys want to know. So I have brought with me, or packed for myself, 4 tarot decks and 3 oracle decks, because choices, and I like to have choices available. So the one I'm probably going to be reaching for the most today, let's be honest, is my This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman. I've talked about this a bunch on my channel lately. I have done a very full-length, like, deep dive walkthrough on this that was about an hour long. So if I remember, I will link that up in the cards so that you can take a peek at that. And these are just a really modern, accessible, fresh deck that I think just about any client could see themselves in, which is one of the reasons it's probably going to be my go-to when I'm doing client readings. I really think that this is a non-scary, especially if you're newer to tarot, really approachable, really diverse look at the tarot. Again, modern, fresh. It kind of just depends on who I'm reading for. I tend to intuitively choose, or I will let the client choose. It just kind of depends, but this is probably going to be my go-to today because I've just been loving it for client readings, so I brought that one. And then I've also grabbed, for similar reasons, my nose is all itchy. My This Might Hurt, I just said that. My Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann Donnelly. So I keep this in a lovely Peggy bag. And this one is just, again, very approachable. This one's modern-ish. It's got more of like a boho kind of, I don't know, it's got like a softer feel. A little bit more spiritual or high vibe than This Might Hurt. And I'm really looking forward to stretching this one's wings and just seeing how it does in client readings. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it performs. I haven't used this one in client readings yet, so I may actually make this one of the first ones I try out today, just to see how we do. But I have no doubt that I will be getting along beautifully with this deck. It's just beautiful. The artwork is gorgeous. This has recently been, this is the original self-published Kickstarter edition, but there is a mass market edition now available through Hay House. I believe it was even on sale last week. I don't know when this video is going up, but within the last week or so, because I think I'm putting this up pretty soon, this deck was on sale on hayhouse.com, and I think it was at a decent price on Amazon too. So those are my two sort of all-arounders. And then I have two decks I've pulled for specific reasons. So one that I've reached for a lot in my client readings is the Bonfire Tarot. And this kind of surprises people, but a lot of times when I'm doing relationship readings, this is the deck that I reach for. There's something about the vibe of this deck that I think really takes a good look at relationship dynamics between people. It definitely looks at topics around love and passion really, really well. It's just a very bold deck, and I feel like it's an intense deck, and when I'm getting a question about an intense relationship or something that's really pressing on someone's mind about love and romance, this just feels like the right deck most of the time for me to reach for. So again, looking at intensity, looking at tumultuous relationships, things like that, and I do get a lot of readings or questions like that when I'm reading for clients. So that's kind of my go-to for that sort of stuff. And then lastly, I grabbed my Art of Love Tarot. The Art of Love is a Tony Carmine Salerno deck, and this is a really nurturing, gentle, loving, and healing deck. And this is really great to reach for people who are nervous when they're coming in for a reading, or who are asking a really sensitive question that's really personal. If they're dealing with any sort of personal healing work or grief, this one can be just a really hug kind of deck. The images are really soothing to look at. They're very gentle, and there's nothing overly harsh, although there's lots of emotion. So it's really wonderful for emotion-based readings. For anybody going through any kind of interpersonal stuff, it's just a really good, balanced and gentle and loving deck. And so I feel like these images just make tarot very supportive, and I really like that. So I wanted that in case of certain types of questions as well. So I'm going to be probably choosing the decks depending, right? So lastly, I have three, well not lastly, second to lastly, because I have one more category to talk about that's in this bag. This bag holds a ton of stuff. But I have three oracle decks. So I've grabbed two of my all-arounders here. So the first one of those is the Connected and Free Alchemist Oracle deck. This one is by Inner Hue. These are what the backings look like. So this is a really wonderful nature-based deck, and if I feel like I want to pull an oracle card or three or whatever alongside one of the tarot decks, this one would work really well next to the Lightseers Tarot especially, was what I was kind of thinking, but it would work well next to any of them. And I just really, really love how expansive and open this particular deck is. It's just a really, really good reader for just about any topic. Love this one a lot. And another all-arounder, these are all three all-rounders actually. Another all-arounder that is newer to my collection but that I absolutely love is the Roots and Wings, oops, I always drop stuff. Okay, the Roots and Wings Oracle, this is by Kat Riles. And this one is also really a wonderful, I mean they're all all-rounders. And when I say all-arounder, what I really mean is a deck that has lots of light and also some shadow, has really good expansive keywords that give me tons to jump off of intuitively. The imagery is really open as well, and there's just a lot of places for me to go. So these are wonderful as clarifiers, and a lot of times when I'm reading in-person client readings, I'll use a couple of go-to spreads, because typically most of the readings clock in at about half an hour, and I have a lot I can say in a half an hour, but sometimes we get through the cards that I've laid out and there's just still some clarity needed, or we want to dive a little deeper, and that's when 2 or 3 oracle cards thrown down can give us like something neat to wrap it all up, a final message or a bit of advice, that sort of thing. And the last oracle deck that I am bringing along, which Peggy very thankfully made me a little mini bag for last night, is the Earthbound Oracle. This is by A.L. Schwartz, I believe. Andy is his first name. Skull Garden. He's the maker of the Wooden Tarot. I think I'm going to take it out of its tuck box. Yeah, I am. And I've recently been talking about this one on my channel, but this is just another really great all-arounder. I thought especially that this might be really interesting with the Bonfire Tarot, but we'll see. I may pull it for whatever. Oops. So I don't know if I'll get to all of these today or not, but I feel like these give me a lot of different ways to play and things to dive into. I think it's interesting actually that almost everything in my bag right now is independent. I would say the 2 mass market decks I have in here is the Lightseers, which is now available mass the indie copy. And the the Bonefire Tarot is mass market, and the Art of Love, actually. So 3 of the 4 tarot are mass market, which is good. And of the Oracle decks, all 3 are independent. But that's not uncommon for me, because when it comes to doing really open, expansive readings, I feel like independent oracles tend to just knock it out of the park with that. So I think that's starting to shift. We're starting to see a little bit more of that independent feel in mass market decks, where they're a lot more expansive and balanced and able to be used for divination, but we will see how that unfolds. I have one last item in here, and it is this pouch, which has my crystals that I'm bringing with me today, and they're all really beefy. I like me some beefy crystals. So first of all, I have my, my vibrated carnelian. So this I actually got at the shop where I'll be reading, as well as my other vibrated crystal. Vibrated crystals have a rough, raw sort of shape, but their sharp edges have been softened through a vibration process, which is really kind of interesting. So they feel really, really nice. They're easy to carry around, and I always bring carnelian because carnelian is really wonderful for anything where a boost in confidence or will is needed, and that often comes up in client readings. So I like to have this available. This is very like solar plexus chakra. It can be a very empowering stone, helps you tap into your passion, and I just really like having this available. I regularly pull this into my client readings I do on video as well. It's just one of my go-to crystals for readings. Another go-to is, as I mentioned, another vibrated crystal. This is my vibrated rose quartz. It's actually a lot pinker than this natural light is making it look today. We have some beautiful weather, so the windows are open, but this is making it look a lot more washed out. It's very soft baby pink. It's very true to rose quartz color. Let's see if I can bring it back somewhere. I'm like, is it pinker on my shirt? Anyway, I really, really love this stone. Rose quartz is just a really gentle, nurturing, supportive crystal. It has probably been a mainstay for me since I was about 18 years old. It was one of the very first stones I ever bought. Not this specific one, but rose quartz in general. And I always find it wonderful for anything about love, self-love, compassion, healing, romance, anything along those lines. This one is such a solid go-to. Great for self-worth and self-compassion as well. Another crystal that I've had with me for 20 plus years is this honkin' piece of quartz. It does have a natural point, but the point, it's like, I don't know if it doesn't come to a sharp point. It's a little bit broken at the tip, and that just may be from years and years in my collection. I actually can't remember if it was ever sharp. There's some fun little things to find in here, some little rainbows and that sort of stuff, but it is a beautiful classic quartz. I'm very, very personally attuned to this specific, I throw it at myself, to this specific crystal. So it's always one that's on my reading table, and it's always one that comes with me whenever possible, because it's me in a crystal. And I really like to use this for clarity in readings. Quartz is a great amplifier, and it also just, for me, this is the stone I associate with helping me connect directly to my clients. So whether I am reading locally in person or long distance, I feel like this is sort of my way to tap into that person's energy. It helps me connect directly and then get that clarity that I need. So I have a couple of other little things in here. Did I grab everything? Yes. Okay. So I have my favorite labradorite palm stone. This is a longtime favorite as well, but I haven't had it. I think I've only had this one for 3 or 4 years, maybe less time. I legitimately cannot remember, but it was the first labradorite piece that I ever purchased, and it made me fall in love with labradorite. Both sides of the stone have beautiful flash. This stone is just a longtime favorite, and it's a stone that reminds me of sort of magic. It helps me connect to spirit energy, or that higher vibe energy, which is really useful when I want to really tune into my own personal intuition. I use this stone how a lot of people might use amethyst. So anything around spirit, oftentimes I'll also pull into this for healing work, but for me it's that high vibe, third eye, crown chakra kind of stone that just helps me connect into those sort of higher messages. So that is a go-to. For personal grounding, I love this little septarian nodule palm stone. This is a stone that really helps to keep me in my body and connected to the earth. This is sort of a grounding and rooting stone for me. So this is on the table for me specifically. I tend to get really sort of floaty and high up energetically when I'm doing readings, especially over a long stretch of time. So I'll be reading for up to 5 hours today at a stretch. And I tend to go without a lot of space in between. So this is great for me to just pause, hold. I'll walk around the store with it when I'm, you know, in between clients, and it just will kind of bring me back into myself. And lastly, also for me, I have a piece of black tourmaline. This is just a protection stone, again, just to shield and protect my own energy. As an empath, sometimes I find it challenging to not absorb everybody else's stuff, particularly when I'm doing readings around grief or trauma or anything where it's really intense and personal for the other person. So these two stones stay near me on like my person, in my pockets, or at my end of the table, just to kind of ground and root in and protect my own energy and keep those clear boundaries up. So that is what I have in my tarot reading kit. I'm just gonna tuck all these things back. Oh, there was one more thing. I forgot. This is a little jasper thumb worry stone, but I actually use this most of the time just to sit this little septarian. I threw the septarian nodule on. But it is nice if I need a fidget to just grab this, and it's got that thumb sort of imprint in it, and I can run it. I can't remember what kind of jasper. I want to say this is picture jasper. If you're a crystal person and you know, feel free to remind me down below. I find jasper to be one of those earthy stones that just feels neutral. I don't have a strong connection to it as a stone, but I love the way that it feels like the Switzerland of crystals. Is that a weird reference? But do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like it doesn't lean high vibe or grounding only, or it's like right in that neutral middle place. So that's what I use usually to keep my little septarian nodule on, and it just sits on there just perfectly. So that's what else was hiding in there. So that is it. I'm actually headed out in just a few minutes, so I am gonna wrap this up, pack everything back in this bag. I think everything's pretty much still in it except for my traveler's notebook, and get on my way. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be, and I will talk to you all again really soon. Bye.